You are listening to Fast Track Podcast, the place to be to fast track your personal finance or fast track your business, or both, through a series of conversations with those who have learned it, done it, and made it. Before starting the episode, I have very exciting news to share with you. I am collaborating with financial imagineer Matthias Richter to launch the Fast Track Money course. This 6-week online course is designed to help young professionals in their 20s to early 40s to learn how to save more, earn more, and invest, using money as a tool to fulfill your dreams. We teach you the proven method that Matthias has been using himself in the last 20 years and achieved financial independence. So sign up today on fasttrack.live/money course to transform your relationship with money from today. Kostas was born in Greece and now working in the Czech Republic as a data analyst. By studying and taking courses online, he managed to switch his job as a structural engineer to become a data analyst and doubled his 9-to-5 income within a year. He's actively publishing content on Twitter about finance, investing, and market history to provide education and guidance to people who are just getting started and want to become financially free. He is the creator of a newsletter on Substack, and he has recently published 2 books on finance and investing for beginners, as well as a free guide for those who want to transition to data analytics. In this episode, he talked about how he put $0 down and leveled up his professional skills, and the common mistakes made by the beginner investors. Let's hear about it. Welcome to Fast Track Podcast, Kostas.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm very excited that you are here with me, and I'm eager to learn more about your personal story since, you have doubled your income in a year and you have side hustles, you publish books, and how did you make it all happen? So I'm curious to know as well as the audience. So I'll start with the first question. How did you double your income in a year?
Yeah, the thing is I decided, because I initially was a structural engineer back in the United States, because the field was pretty much stagnated, and I decided that I wanted to utilize my skills in another field. So I had some friends from structural engineering who switched to data analytics, data science, or software development. And the salaries are much better, the prospects are much better to grow in this field, because it's like a very in-demand field, and they are looking for people with different backgrounds from engineering, statistics, math, and they generally want people with analytical thinking, problem-solving skills, a bit coding. So I added all that mix from my experience, and I did also some online courses. And then I started looking for jobs in that field when I moved back to Europe. And that's how I got in the data analytics field. I currently work in an insurance company. But this field is like very broad. So as a data analyst, you can work in various types of companies. For example, you can work in healthcare, you can work in energy companies, you can work in marketing companies. Basically, any business that wants to utilize data to improve their business relationships, their product, their service, the customer relationships, when they want to get any insights on their internal processes. In general, it's like there are many different types of companies where you can be employed. So that's how I managed to improve my income by a lot.
Yeah, I know this field is quite in high demand. And when you say you took some courses online, did it take you a lot of time to transit from one domain to another domain? Or?
Yeah, for me, it was easier because I had done a lot of coding in my master's degree in California. And I also had an internship with a company where I did some probabilistic analysis. So it's not that I started from zero and went to data analytics, because I had a pretty solid background. So when I decided to switch, I think it took me almost, let's say 6 months, I think. But at some point, I quit my previous job to focus on the courses full time and speed it up a bit. So like once I quit my job, I invested all my time on the courses and looking for jobs in data analytics. And then I got the new offer like 3 months later.
Okay. Did you have few offers to choose from, or it's just the one that you wanted?
Like the best one was the one I got because they were looking for a structural, like it was in the job description, we were looking for a structural engineer with coding experience. So it was like the perfect fit for me.
Uh-huh. Okay. So they
And
were looking for you.
yeah, I was looking for them, they were looking for me. So it was a good match. And that's
Uh-huh.
how I didn't think in twice. I just went there and it's pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of advice would you give it to any other like engineers who would like to also increase their income, like earning power?
Like for the 9 to 5 aspect, like
Mm-hmm.
your main job, I think it's a pretty good step to just get started with some online courses in statistics, in databases, in data analysis, and some tools that you might need to use. For example, I mostly use Excel tools with some advanced tools that they have for data analysis, SQL for databases, and Python for coding. So I think if an engineer manages to utilize these three skills and combines their analytical and problem solving skills, they will have very good prospects in this field.
And how much did you invest in those online courses?
To be honest, nothing, because I mostly took free courses on Coursera, some online courses on YouTube that I found. There are many good resources. And I recently uploaded like a small guide with all the free courses that I got online, because when I posted that on Twitter that I switched to data analytics and I got some courses, like I got 50 DMs probably by people asking me, what do I need to do to switch to data analytics? So I just created a small 10-page guide with all the educational resources that I used for statistics, for coding, for data analysis, and all these things. And I just uploaded on Gumroad for free with all the free courses that anyone can take. I mean, it's not, these courses will take you from 0 to 100, but they will give you a pretty solid background to just get started, get your first job. And then once you get more experience, you will improve your skills on the job, and then you can ask your company to pay for some more advanced courses.
Yeah,
For
that's the
example,
most.
like artificial intelligence or neural networks or more advanced things. I think that's the best case.
I think that's the most amazing thing is there are so many free resources online. If you want to put into the effort and time, you can always level up your skills. And your ROI in this is basically unlimited since you have zero
It's
investment.
infinite because there is zero investment. Yeah, everything is profit.
Yeah. And next I want to ask you about, you also started side hustles. So where do you think who should start a side hustle? And also why you start a side hustle?
Yeah, I think anyone should start a side hustle. Let's start from there, because I think improving your financial situation should be anyone's goal. The reason I started was because I focused a lot on how to improve my 9 to 5 income. But I mean, it caps at some point. You cannot get 50% increases in your salary every year or something. So you need also to create additional income sources and use that money to invest it in yourself, or invest it in stocks or bonds or cryptocurrency, which is very popular right now, whatever you want, and create a cash flow for the future when you want to retire, not when you're 65, but when maybe you're in your 30s or in your 40s, depending on what's your current situation. So in January, I decided to start being active on Twitter and writing about finance, investing, stock market history, and in general, provide some guidance to others who want to improve their financial situation. And then I launched also a newsletter on Substack, basically writing on the same topics. And I also uploaded an ebook on Gumroad for like basically a guide for beginners who want to get started with finance and investing. I'm at the initial stage right now.
Where did you learn about all these topics, like personal finance topics? And how did you get started into this area?
Yes, it was mostly from like self-education by reading books. I was following some YouTube accounts that were posting content about these topics like financial independence, side hustles, investing. So that gave me some motivation to start reading more books about these topics on how to increase my income, how to invest, how to create multiple income sources. And that's how like I got the ball rolling, because I think once you get into it, it becomes kind of addictive. So you want to do more and more and more. Because when I started on Twitter, like in January, I had like a goal, okay, I will just write stuff and gain 100 followers by the end of the year. And then I started getting more attention on my profile. So I decided, okay, I will maybe start a newsletter. Then I said, okay, maybe I should write a book. And now I'm doing like, I have like more things on the pipeline right now. I'm starting cooperating with other people. For example, today I published my first thread where I had a collaboration with another account. I wrote the thread and he created a pretty good visual to summarize the thread. So I'm always looking for like more opportunities to network and collaborate. It's not necessarily always to earn more money, but I think there are also other benefits to that.
Is it from the YouTube videos and online content that got into the idea of change career and double your income, or it comes after?
As a person, I always want to improve myself, but sometimes you don't know where to get started or you don't know what options are out there. Because, for example, I didn't even know that, people were writing on, there was the money Twitter, as they call it. People write about stocks, people write about investing, about e-commerce and all these things. Because I was used to be on Facebook and Instagram where everyone is posting about what they are eating, when they are going for vacation, or what pictures of their
lifestyle content.
Yeah, lifestyle content and stuff like that. So I didn't know that this side of Twitter existed, honestly. I discovered it like probably in December of last year.
That's pretty fast, because in few months time, you're active on Twitter, you publish the ebook, you're collaborating with people,
Yes.
And you still have your 9-to-5 job.
Yes. But the good thing is that I work from home. So that saves me a lot of time in commuting. I don't have to spend, time chit-chatting in the office kitchen or, just wasting time. So all this time that I save from working from home and having a flexible schedule, I just invest it in my other activities.
Side hustles.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I love that. And then we talk about personal finance and money. What is your money philosophy? How do you manage your own money?
First, I try to keep like a very specific budget. Every month, I try to pay myself first, which means that once I get my salary, I have a specific amount that I send it to my investment account. And then I spend whatever is left from that. Because usually people do the other way around. They spend. And then whatever is left, if there is anything left, they try to save it or invest it. So I think paying yourself first should be at the top of my priorities. And then another thing, in order to stay in budget, is I try to measure the prices of things or services or products that I want to buy in terms of how much I need to work to earn this amount of money and how much I would earn if I invested this amount of money instead of spending it on this thing that I want to buy. So if I think that it's not worth it, then I just keep my money and invest it instead of spending it in, unnecessary purchases.
And then how do you invest? What's your investment philosophy?
Right now, because I'm young, so I invest mostly in stocks. I don't have any bonds and some cryptocurrencies. And what I do is I basically invest a specific amount every month in some companies that I intend to hold for many years. My philosophy in investing is just to dollar cost average. Every month I put the same amount. I don't try to time the market or try to predict what the economy will do 6 months from now or 12 months from now, because I think that's a money losing strategy in the long term. So I just put every month the same amount and I just let it compound. I try not to pay much attention to the news because I think, if you watch or if you read too much of it, you start getting emotional. You say, oh, maybe I should sell this stock or maybe I should buy this stock. And you make emotional decisions that in the end, they hurt you a lot. So I just try to stay calm and invest every month the same amount, and that's it. I don't try to get too much frustrated or anxious about it.
It reminds me of one of episode I did with Millennial Money Woman, and she mentioned that if every single person just using dollar cost averaging method and invest like $13 per day, everyone can become a millionaire currently.
Yeah, because if you invest like, I don't know, I think, I'm not sure what's the exact number, but the S&P 500 increases about 7 to 8%, let's say, per year on average.
I think last 10 years is about 13 to 14%.
Yeah, last 10 years it's even more, but
yeah.
Okay, let's say the historical.
Okay, yeah.
Let's not pick up the last decade only. So historically it's 8%. So if you invest, I don't know, $300 or $400 every month, you will be a millionaire guaranteed. I mean, there is no question asked.
Indeed. The problem is many people might try to react towards news and then some,
that's the worst thing you can do.
So
because I think 99% of the time is just noise. You have to ignore it.
Yeah. It's more than the rational thing. It's also emotional thing. Investing is you have to control the emotional side of how your brain reacts to the market.
Yes. I think investing is 80% of controlling your emotions and studying about psychology, human behavior, and these things, not about advanced mathematics or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And then what are the most common mistakes do you think people are making when it comes to investing?
One thing I've seen for beginners is they just go, instead of taking baby steps, they go straight to trading options or day trading or using margin, which is like, I have actually a chapter on my book for this, like the sins of the amateurs. And like the margin one, I have like a whole page of telling people just don't do it. Don't do it. It's not going to work. Because, sometimes when you invest in the first time, the stocks go up and you think you're a genius. You think, oh my God, I'm better than Warren Buffett because I doubled my income, my investing portfolio in, 6 months. Oh, maybe I should trade in margin. It's free money. You put $10 and you get another 30, 40 from your broker as credit and you can buy more stocks. That's wonderful. But when the market takes a downturn, you get a margin call and then you have to put more money, and then that's the worst position to be in.
Yeah. So I talked to Matthias in another episode. Is like when the market goes up, you think it's not because the market, it's because you are smart.
But when it goes down, you blame the market and capitalism and Wall Street and the government and I don't know who else.
Yeah.
Because you even saw it with GameStop when we saw this Robin Hood fiasco, because people when the stocks go up and they go like, 100 times, they think it's because they're good investors. And once it goes down, they think it's the government and there's a conspiracy. But it's just, and that's another thing that I believe beginners should do is like study history, not just financial statements of the companies and what companies to buy and what not to buy, but like study history and see the patterns. Because all these bubbles and manias and like from the tulip mania or from the South Sea Company bubble or I'm talking about centuries ago.
Yeah.
If you study them, the pattern is exactly the same. Like even Isaac Newton lost his entire fortune in a stock company bubble in the South Sea Company. And he was one of the, most intelligent people of that era. So if you think you're smarter than him and you're going to avoid it, then think again.
Have you made some of the mistakes in the past?
I'm not going to say that I've made big mistakes. Mostly it's like companies that I shouldn't have invested in, and sometimes that I made a judgment that I shouldn't invest in this company, and then it turned out to be wrong. But in general, I try to learn from other people's mistakes, and I
try not to prove that you can avoid it.
I don't try to prove anything to anyone. I'm just trying to avoid other people's mistakes, because I think, as Charlie Munger said, like, you don't have to be very smart, just don't do what the stupid people do. So just watch what they are doing, which is trading in margin, trading options, day trading, going in and out of stocks all the time. So just avoid that, and then you will be fine.
Do you have a financial goal for yourself?
For myself right now is to just increase my side hustle income. I mean, I'm just getting started now. So my goal long term would be to create cash flows that can substitute my 9 to 5 job so I can kind of semi-retire and then focus on some other projects, passion projects, or some other activities that I want to go into without the need to have a 9 to 5 job to provide me a steady salary.
Yeah. So then you are completely free to choose whatever you want to do.
Yes, I think for me it's more important to have control of your time and your location than just to have, $5 million and go to expensive restaurants or go to very luxurious places and buy luxurious, I don't know, designer clothes and stuff like that. For me, it's mostly controlling my time and controlling my location.
Yeah. So actually, it's your freedom of how you manage your own time, your freedom of where you want to live and stay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Ultimate freedom. Yes. And empowered by financial independence.
Yes, of course. Yes. Well, of course, you need some money coming in every month in order to do that. Yeah. But it also depends on your lifestyle and what your goals are. You don't need to have $1 million in order to retire. You can do it with much less.
Indeed. And I often have conversations with people like they would have a big number in mind. Like I want to achieve that amount of money because I want to have certain lifestyle. But in reality, if you pin down what you want to do in your dream life, you don't need that much money, actually.
Yeah,
way
exactly,
less. Yeah.
And especially if you have some other income sources apart from your investment portfolio. You can say, let's say you write a book, you have a podcast, and you get some sponsors. You can have some extra income just to cover your basic expenses. And then, I don't know, if you made a very good investment in stocks and you get a lot of money, then you can go on vacations, you can buy your dream car and stuff like that. But
talking about the buying cars, and I have several conversations with podcast guests. Most of the people say the biggest mistakes people are making is buying a very expensive car when they do not have a big net worth.
Like I bought one when I was in the US and I paid like, I think $5,000. So it was like a 7-year-old car. It had like some scratches on it, but I didn't care. I added even some more of my own. So, it was like, I've never understood why you want to buy something that the moment you get out the door and put the engine on, you lose 20% of your money, like in 10 seconds. That's the worst investment you can make.
Last question to you is there anything else you would like to share with the audience? Any like a key takeaway message you want them to remember from this conversation?
That their first goal should be to leverage their 9 to 5 job to increase their skills, improve their skills, increase their main income, create a network, because from being in an industry with many professionals, you can create a good network that might be helpful in the long term. And then start creating multiple income sources from whatever side hustles you can get started with. Also invest consistently every month. Regardless of what. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And if you do these things, you will be set for life. You don't have to worry about them.
Just stay the course. Do not deviate from it.
Yes.
Recently, you published your ebook about investing and personal finance for beginners. Maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about what this book is about, and then I will put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like about 110 pages, and it's a guide for beginners who want to get their finances in order, increase their income. I mentioned about how to get started with side hustles, what options there are. From my opinion, probably there are even more from others. How to create a budget, some principles you need to know about, for example, what's your FIRE number, how to calculate using the 4% rule, how you can use compound interest in your favor, what investment options there are, what are the mistakes of beginners to avoid, which is probably the most important, some basic principles to use in your investment journey. And I think for a beginner, it will be a good guide to give them a basis to get started.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I think, unfortunately, again, we do not learn personal finance, how to manage your money in school, unless you're
Yes.
lucky to have like parents who know this and educate you. But most of the people, they don't. So I think it's very important that when we grow up, we need to consciously looking for information and the knowledge to educate ourselves. Because at the end of the day, money is a tool to allow you have the freedom uh, to pursue the life you want, the projects you want, and the how to manage the time the way you like it. So I really highly recommend every single person. If you are a beginner, check out his book. I will put in the show notes. And what's your Twitter handle if people want to follow you?
It's Kostas on Fire, and I also have the same handle for my Substack. It's kostasonfire.substack.com, and also the same on Gumroad. It's gumroad.com/it's Kostas on Fire. So it's easy to find me.
I'll make sure everything in the show notes. And thank you very much for being here today. And I'm
Thank you
glad
for
to
having me.
glad to have you share your personal experience to inspire the other people like around your age, the younger generations, level up your professional skills, increase your income, learn personal finance, and achieve freedom in life.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fast Track Podcast. Show me your support by liking this episode and sharing it with a friend. Join the Facebook group at Fast Track Podcast 1, or you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and of course the homepage fasttrack.life. See you in the next episode.